Hello everyone, welcome to another Scion Custom Races replay here. Now this one is going to be from the ongoing Scion Custom Races tournament. I believe this is actually the second replay, seeing as Sav has picked Terran. Whoops. Oh well, it shouldn't matter too much. And anyway, this is going to be the game between BowofArtemis and Commissar Kate, otherwise known as Sav, or no, yeah, just Sav. Now, this is actually the first time me using this interface, so there's no way to see the hotkeys, I believe. So bear with me, but I think I remember most of the important ones. Alright, let's unpause and see what they have to bring to us today. So spawning here in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, with in the blue SCVs, is going to be Sav. Now, both of these players are, of course, from the Scion Races clan. And in the top right-hand corner, with the teal Chiron converters, it is going to be BowofArtemis. Yeah. Edifice getting thrown down at the moment, as well as a depot. The start is fairly normal by the looks of it. This matchup was actually the last. It's the same matchup as the last matchup I covered on the channel, which is a bit interesting, considering there's what 36 matchups. When you have 6 races, yeah. Okay, there's enough money for a Citadel. It's got a, yep, there we go, with 3. See that on the natural. Ooh, it's double gas from Sav. Except he's not transferring. There we go. Now he's transferring some workers over. Okay. Sav is a Diamond 3 Platinum 1, like on the borderline Terran player. BowofArtemis hasn't been playing so much ladder recently. I think he's more competent actually with the Scion races than he is with the normal ones. Should make him probably around Diamond 2, maybe even Diamond 1. With Chiron, probably not Diamond 1. Like high Diamond 2. Reactor and Factory going down here for Sav. I'm just going to call him Sad, it's easier than Commissar Kate. Double Formulator going down, as well as the Sanctum. The Formulator is slightly late. Second Edifice also already coming up. So this is slightly different to the build that I normally play, in that he's getting second Edifice much faster. Converter, going to be scouting around for proxies, though there aren't any. Though I don't blame him, because it is a double gas. He's got him having 2 workers in each gas. It's an interesting choice. Command Center coming down is going to allow him to immediately make a starport if he so chooses. He does have the money for it. There we go. You know, I wonder, because he's rushing out this tech, although I'm not sure of the normal timing, so it might actually be a fairly normal timing at the pro level. But anyway, he's rushing out this starport. Gonna go double mine, so it's probably gonna be a mine drop. Okay. Be interesting if we see an armory go down actually. Cloak mine drop is already making a Stratus though. That's a very quick reliquary. Of course, you don't actually need a reliquary to get detection. You can already simply make the Oculus. Right there. Huh. That's interesting. Anyway. Command Center finishing up, and Armory does start. Yeah, that's definitely going to finish up by the time they get across the map. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. There is a Stratus in both bases though, as well as 2 subjectors. The main problem I think is going to be the medevac. But once the mines land, There isn't enough DPS yet to simply kill them that quickly. The bunker is coming up, I do like that. I think it's absolutely necessary to get a bunker as Terran in the early game before you have a decent number of tanks or stuff. It's a nullifier. Why did you put this here? Artemis. We see a mid-game nullifier rush. Because it's not really a rush. I don't know, like a mid-game nullifier. This is interesting. I don't see those just floating in the middle of the map. I like that. It's cool. He's gonna drop it before the turret. Nice. Ooh, big hits. How many workers? 6 workers killed so far, but more still yet to die. Okay, and only 2 extra workers. Resources lost, though. Actually in favour of BowofArtemis, though. I would say Sav does still come out slightly ahead with this, because of the workers. Of course, a worker advantage scales, because you're getting more and more resources over time. Whereas a unit, you're not getting anything from the unit. Like, the unit's only ever doing anything if it's attacking opposing units. More mines actually walking across the map. Click mines. Is he going to repair this medevac? Mines. Of course, there's still a worker count, a higher worker count for BowofArtemis, but mules do close that income advantage. Income's very even, slightly in favour of our Terran player. Oh, this mine's going to get both of these workers, I think. Yeah. That's quite annoying to deal with, but very nicely done by Sav. Let's look a bit more at our Chiron player here. What's he doing? What's this? Ooh, is it a bug? Actually, this happens sometimes with like Terran CCs when they're not, when the worker dies. 2 additional stratas coming up, and 1 more additional stratas over here. I think it's slightly overkill, but maybe not. You could always put the stratus actually slightly over the void of the dead airspace, which would be, I think, a really cool idea. A really cool play, because that means, you know, it's much harder for the medevac to fly in if there's like at least 1 stratus constantly shooting. Foundry and a second Elysium coming up. I believe that's his first Foundry. Yep. Upgrades so far, just +1 biological weapons here for our Chiron player. Planetary Fortress at the 3rd base. This is a classic move. I did this all for ages in Gold League, because it is actually, it can be quite hard until you're used to producing units to defend this base. And, you know, players not in high diamond can often struggle with just simply making a lot of stuff. Ooh, 3 volts going down to 1 Widowmine hit. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. So Widowmines have been slowly acquiring more and more value as units walk by them. 2 mines quite close to each other. I wouldn't mind one of them going here just to cover all your attack piles, all the attack piles of the opponent. Double Atrium coming up as well, actually. So even though he has double Elysium, he's not going to stick around on that for long for his source of splash. Of course, you can always still go Convergence against Terran Bio, though it is not going to be Bio, as Artemis is likely assuming. Maybe I should call them Connos, because it's BowofArtemis, not Artemis. Energy on attack move. Of course, the Stratus though is stopping it from getting into the mineral mine. It's going to bait it over the Widow mine. It does manage to get 1 little Vault kill. A bunch of Hellions drive on by. They need to be killing these workers. Oh. It doesn't end up getting too much there. The 3rd base is fully saturated now here for Sav. He definitely has... Actually no. Incomes. Like completely even, wow. That's surprising. 2 more CCs starting up here for Sav as well. Tech Lab's going down on his additional factories. Going to be making cyclones. He does have that planetary fortress, so he's not going to really need too many tanks for defensive purposes, I guess. So cyclones would definitely be a nicer aggressive choice, especially with that change to their locker. No Stratus. Coming online at his 4th. How many Stratus do we have so far? 7. Does that include the building one? No, it doesn't. So this is 8th Strat. As well as a nullifier. Mines at the potential expansions. Very nice, very good play here by Sav, I think. Makes it all the more annoying to try to acquire more bases. I still don't think Artemis has seen. Let's go to. No, he doesn't know it's mech at all. He's seen nothing except the planetary. But the planetary can be a bit of a tell that it's going to be mech. The anti-Subterra wings coming up kind of tells me that he still doesn't realise that it's mech. Then again, myriads are still quite nice to have against Hellions. But I don't think the Atrium the greatest choice of tech structure against mech, of course. Convergence, having that plus 50 against mechanical units, it's definitely very strong, much stronger against mech, I think, than the bonus against the lights to the Hellions and Helmets. Oh, plus 2 mechanical and biological weapons coming up here as well. As well as Exalted Shields, I believe that's called. Giving plus 10 shields to the Pariah. These little guys. Pariahs, of course, actually very strong against mech. It's kind of like the Zealot and the Zergling combined. There's more HP than a Zergling, but has HP closer to that of a Zealot than a Zergling, but has the speed more of a Zergling, in a way. Did I jump on my words up? I might have. Sav going to be moving out with his Cyclone Hellion army. This is a lot of Hellions. Would like to see more Cyclones coming out of it, because they're the real damage dealers to an army like this. Well, all these Pariahs are going to be weak to this field. Of course, the Pariahs do have great ability to jump on the siege tanks and catch them. They're also significantly whoa! Massive convergences, just completely decimates that pile. Because what I was going to say is, due to lesser HP, Hellions and Helmets are much stronger against Pariahs than they are against Zealots, which makes mech probably a lot more viable. Oh, but man. Those Cyclones completely destroyed. Yeah, resources lost. This is not what you want to see as a mech player. Mech absolutely relies on efficiency. I think mech is viable against Chiron, or at least possible. It's something that you might be able to do, but only really if you get ghosts, especially if there's these Meridians out. This army is so weak to EMP, it's actually kind of crazy. There we go, more Cyclones though coming. This much more mobile army is able to dodge these convergences much easier, especially without the catch that the Pariahs have. You have Rise project on top of this army. It's much, you can't really move back because you're getting like body blocked by all these Pariahs inside the army. So you can't really dodge the convergences very easily. That's a nice couple of Meridian kills. Lose a couple of Hellions, but Meridian's definitely more gas heavy than Hellions are. You can always generally afford to lose minerals when you're playing back. Some gas in general makes sense. of you is repairing their army, as BowofArtemis has indeed maxed out now. Upgrades, slightly in favour here of our current player, but still fairly even. Still needs additional upgrades. Oh, starts to dodge out the very last. Still loses a lot. Repair this planetary. Oh no, the right click does mostly dodge that convergence. This planetary is now being repaired, but the convergence is killing a lot of these SCVs. All the cycles are going to die again. If the micro isn't tight enough to avoid these convergences, I think it's better just to stick with tanks. Sure, tanks might not be able to avoid the convergence, but they'll be able to shovel from a distance, kill a couple meridians before the meridians get close enough to use their spells. There's a Raven here. I do believe it has had some nice anti-armor missiles. Battle cruisers as well as your Yamato gun coming up. Very cool to see. Yamatoing some of these myriads and huge, but oh no, gets him while he wasn't looking. The entire army just blows up. He's just going to abandon this planetary. Actually, I think he could have repaired them. There's so many myriads here, and Elytron sucked, absolutely sucked, like in structures, like you wouldn't believe. I wonder how Widowmines are actually. Oh, Widowmines good against Elytron. They probably are, aren't they? Yep. Got the Meridians walking forward into trying to get him on fire. Yeah, this is the light on the quite tempting. 120 HP per light is really good. Using convergence on single tanks, lightning would probably be better, but probably doesn't really matter at this point. There's just so many Meridians. There's one giant, you can use that to pick up some of these tanks. Actually doesn't work if the tanks are in situ. Oh, all the work is just dying there. This planetary now also going to go down. He does actually have another base finishing up here, and this base still mining, so if BowofArtemis doesn't realise this, he pulls back for whatever reason. Sav could potentially come back into it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, he's going to probably come and kill this one off as well. Where are the BCs? They're just still at the starports. Oh no! BCs would be so essential when you're defending this base. There's so much supply caught up here in myriads which don't shoot up. You know, 4 Yamatos on here and half the Meridians are gone. Jumps into the main base. I don't know about that. He's got to be met with some Stratus fire. Aegis just comes online as well. Did he finish? No, he teleported over there. Bunch of little echoes are coming up. It's got Yamato in the base. I don't really like that. You should be Yamatoing these echoes so then you can hide in this dead space here. But GG, well played. That's going to be the end of game number 2, I believe this was. So we're going to go check out game number 1. Hello and welcome to the first game, because I cast them in the wrong order, of the best of 3 series between Sav and Daedalus. So we're going to hit play. Spawning here in the top left hand corner of Babylon LE, we have, from the Scion Races clan, Sav. Playing with those red Genetron ACLs, of course. Rather than those Terran SCVs that we got to see him use in the second game. The second game was quite a nice game to watch, seeing all that, you know, the cool playstyles. Although, no disrespect to Sav, but although, you know, Sav isn't by any means like a pro, it was still quite nice to see those, you know, BCs, even if it was right towards the end, and the Cyclone Hellion type stuff. It was cool to see. Anyway, Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of Babylon Ladder Edition, it is from the Scion clan, BowofArtemis. It's going to be chasing away this ACR from Sav. Production tab, fairly normal looking, though Daedalus did decide to go for a quick formulator in this first game rather than what he ended up doing in the second one. His workers are going to be chasing each other for a while before he decides to send it back. For Sav, he realizes, yeah, nice bit of worker control here by Sav. Realizing that he's no longer getting chased, he's going to go in, see this citadel and then get shoot away by default, but that's always a nice confirmation to get, especially when you get it for free. Processing core on the natural of Sav going down as his second node startup, as well as his second filtering plant. Spitfire also starting up. There's not going to be any Blitzer opener by the looks of it here from Sav. He's going to go straight into the outfitting station, likely going to get a quick calibrated engines upgrade. Though when going Spitfires, I wouldn't mind seeing just one gas. I don't think you need a second gas if you're going Spitfires. Just mine up to 100 gases if you're playing Zerg and just getting metabolic boost, really. Yeah. Spitfire going to wait next to this relay tower for his orders. For his... I don't know. You wouldn't call them brethren, because they're not living, they're robots. What do you call them? Leave it down in the comments, what do you think is the... What would you call your... the people who you fight alongside? You wouldn't call them brothers. You wouldn't call them... comrades, maybe? I don't know. Because they're not living, you know? They're purely AI robots. Foundry and Outlet coming up here roughly the same time for Daedalus. This is a interesting combination. He's used this against me a number of times in a number of different matchups. It's like a 2-base all-in or 2-base semi-all-in, depending on how much he decides to delay his Citadel. Yeah, okay, Edifice coming up, as well as another Sanctum. Second Edifice, of course. Yeah, this is definitely going to be that kind of all-in-y style. I've seen him play a couple times. It's very, very strong. Seeing his, well, there's probably stronger builds out there, but the Foundry, like the Umbra, because they get 1.5 times extra damage on their first shot after while they're cloaked, like on the same shot that they decloak on, they get a little bit of extra damage. And that damage plus the high damage of the high burst damage of the Aurora as well. They both do a lot of damage. What do you call it? Like single target damage per shot. Makes it very, very hard to micro weakened units back because they often end up just one-shotting your units. So they can just kind of, and they have decent range as well, especially the Aurora. So they can just kind of kite you back while these subjectors and vaults just make sure you can't really jump on top of this army and snipe all the important units. So it just kind of cuts you back, picks off your units until you die, really. Or picks off your units until the rest of his army can fight you and kill you. Sav sending 5 Spitfires across the map. This processor is here, but this is the time also that Daedalus decides to move out. 4 Spitfires end up going down. 1 Spitfire fleeing for his little life. For his body, maybe. To protect his well-crafted body. And we've got to come up with these phrases. Because they're all robots, they're not actually alive. But yeah, okay, Daedalus coming up this ramp, just killing one unit after another. Overcharge, I believe it is. supercharge. Being used here a lot from Sav, but this is not looking very good as well. Another blitz just goes out. See what I mean? The high damage shots from the Umbra and the Aurora makes it very hard to move back, to micro back like that. The interdict are keeping away the Auroras, but that's just gonna get locked down as well now by this Umbra. Workers get pulled. 3 blitzes not yet available to help these workers, and GG roleplay is called, and that's going to be the end of game number 1 and the end of the series because I casted them in the wrong order. Well, I hope you enjoyed this cast. Hope you come back for the next one as well. I do plan to hopefully cast some more of the games from the tournament, and if you're a player participating in this tournament, please hurry up and play your games. I want to watch them. Yeah. And that being said as well, by the way, for any of you curious in Scion stuff, I'm thinking potentially of making tournaments more often on the Scion kind of thing. Of course, this is going to be on Challenge. Basically challenge, but with an O near the end. And using that in the Scion Races community, because I am now what's the name for it? A manager? Anyway, I can organize tournaments now basically, and I'm planning to hopefully organize a couple more of these tournaments, potentially even monthly, as I said earlier. So hopefully we could see more games from players then, and please make sure to catch the next one and then sign up for that one as well, because it took a little while to get a decent number of players on this one, and even then we only have 6 players. Also Solstice, please join. And yeah, that's going to be it from me. It's going to be it for the news and announcements and whatnot. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye.